Welcome to this small video about distribution. In this small video, I'll be talking about the agent, commercial representative, independent representative. Same name for quite a similar type of partner in our distribution of goods. This also means that I'll be talking about a topic which relates both to your business-to-business sales, to some extent also to your regular sales, but primarily the business-to-business is the angle I'll be taking on it here. It's also often included in your supply chain management curriculum because it is what we call the downstream setting, the downstream operations. It also relates to a topic which I talk quite a bit about, our international business relations, because it is one of the ways to enter a new market, and especially when you're not doing it yourself. But let's take a deeper look at it. The basic definition of an agent, as I term it here, is an often individual who acts as the salesperson or the sales representative for the company that you're working with or representing. They are the ones who's selling the products. Sometimes they even have a company email address. So for the customer on the other side, it's quite difficult to see whether it's actually an internal salesman or an independent representative. That being said, you can, some countries also see your salespeople being paid almost the same way as your independent rep or your commercial agent. You are paying them primarily by commission. What is it then in terms of distribution types? And in the other videos about distribution, I've presented this small figure here where we have our manufacturer on the top, wholesaler, retailers, web shops, etc. The agent is a little bit special in this regard because they jump in between you as a manufacturer or a service provider and any of the other categories of partners. So it can be that your agent works with a wholesaler or a distributor. They can work with a retailer, a web shop, or maybe even directly to the consumer. Often we see it as dealing directly with the end consumer or the end company, which are taking your products or utilizing the services that you are providing. And this retailer or agent is an intermediary. Why is it that we have these? Well, first of all, it's the local market knowledge, and it also tells which kind of agents that we would like to have working for us. Someone with good, deep market knowledge. In the international business sides, it's the cultural market knowledge, which is at the top of our mind. If we're working domestically with an agent or a commercial agent, as it is here, we're looking for someone who have industry knowledge, industry experience, someone who have the connections to quickly address the customers that we're looking for. It's often also a cheap way to start. We don't have to have a big program set up. We don't need to do so much because they should be ready to go right when we employ or set up a contract with them. They're also potentially dedicated. Usually an agent does not have that many other products than your product. So in that sense, they are your extra salesperson in the field with the knowledge. This is of course a little bit of a tricky thing because if they have multiple products, just like any of your other intermediaries, there is a risk that you will not become top of mind for this person and therefore he or she will not be selling your products very well. It's also, for the most part, low risk. You don't invest that much in it. Maybe a couple of trips, maybe a little bit of a training that you would be doing anyway to any other partner. However, I put the low in the practice here because there are if we take the bottom part. So risks associated, especially if you're in the European Union. There are a couple of legislations that you need to be aware of. And they're EU stated, and it's the French and the German versions of it. Same, but different, as I say. The essence of it is that if you have an agent, they have built some market for you, you are liable to pay them after you finalize the contract or the agreement with them. You will have to pay them, which is also why you often see an agent being converted into an internal employee, where you procure, so to speak, their small company, or you upgrade them to distributor or reseller in that regard. You also have the issue with the confidentiality, because you will be working very closely, and you'll need to work very closely with them, because they'll not be able to utilize other products or services to build the market for you. Benefits, of course: local or market representative, flexibility in their interaction. You can upscale or downgrade your interactions as much as you like, and it is more or less as having your own salesman. Do remember, just like with all intermediaries and partners, the flows. How do you handle the materials? How do you handle the information flows? And what kind of funding goes back and forth? Is it the agent who makes the deal directly, or, as it will often be, the agent which will be facilitating a deal between you as the company and the customer in the end, and then you sign directly, so there's no funds, just a commission to the agent. Materials is rarely handled by the agent as well. Those usually come directly from you to the consumer. So remember, the costs involved in that also needs to be subtracted in order to evaluate if this is a good deal. All right, this was a small presentation on the agent or commercial partner. Remember, divisional roles: who does what, who has responsibility for what, and the different flows of information. See you in another video.